Well, good morning, and thank you all for coming out this morning to learn something about a new initiative that our fire department is going to present to the public, Project Smoke Alarm. Here in the city this year, we've experienced 6 fatal fires, which is more than we've had over the course of the past 5. During the past 5 years, 25 of our fellow citizens and residents have lost their lives in home fires. We believe that many of those could have been prevented had there been adequate early warning, which a smoke alarm provides. Project Smoke Alarm is a joint initiative of our fire department and 3 of our community partners, the Schofield Automobile dealerships, who are represented here today by Roger Schofield, by Interstate Battery, represented by Mike Prim, and our good friends at Safe Kids, Rhonda Lusk. These community partners and I, as well as all the members of our fire department, think it's important that people take time this week and next week, which is Fire Prevention Week, to look at ways to escape their home in the event of fire, to do those things that are necessary to ensure the safety of not only the children in the home, but the adults as well. We have a couple of slides that I wanted to share with you this morning, and for those of you here in the press, we have a handout as well. But if you look to the map, this map shows that fatal fires here in Wichita have not been isolated to any specific neighborhood or quadrant of the city. People have died all over the city in house fires this year. You can see that all geographic areas are covered: north, south, east, and west. On our second slide, there's more information about the fatality fire victims. You'll also notice that in April, there were 2 fires, one on the 8th and one on the 26th. Those involve people that are historically considered normal fire victims, if there is such a thing. Older people and younger people tend to be victims of fire, but as you can see here, we have had people who are older than 50, and in the case of our most recent fire fatality, very tragic loss of a 16-year-old young lady on Sunday, September 18th. I think it's also important as we look at the slide to note that the times that those fires occurred, most of those were after midnight, typically when people are not alert and awake or sleeping. That can be a factor as well, which emphasizes the importance of there being some kind of practice or something done to ensure that you're going to be able to escape in the event that there's a fire in your home. Many people believe that if the fire is in my house, I know my house. I'll be able to get up and get out. Many people are under the mistaken belief that I'll smell the smoke or something's going to alert me and I'll be able to get out. That just simply is not the truth. A working smoke alarm provides you an improved chance of escape by 50%. That's why we believe it's important, and again, thank our partners for their generous donation of almost 300 smoke alarms and batteries. Project Smoke Alarm is going to begin on Monday, October 17th. It's at that time we'll be encouraging people from the community to contact our fire prevention office at 268-4441. At that time, an appointment will be made, and members from your neighborhood fire stations, for those who are in need, will come to your home, provide those smoke alarms, talk to you about the importance of home fire escape, and we want to do whatever we can to ensure the safety of the citizens and residents of our community. Also joining me here at the podium is our Fire Marshal, Brad Crisp, and Bob Thompson, who is our Chief Fire Prevention Officer. We'll take some questions here in just a moment, but before we do, I wanted to make sure you guys all know that we're planning a demonstration outside following the questioning that should really emphasize the speed at which fire travels. And with that, if you have any questions, we'd be happy to respond.
Are there any qualifications that people need to see these smoke alarms? Is it based on income, or who would be eligible for these smoke alarms?
Right now, anyone that calls, now there will be some limitation as to the number of smoke alarms that would be provided, but if someone in the community has a need, we're willing to listen and make at least 1 smoke alarm available, perhaps more.
How did this idea come about? Was this through Safe Kids or the corporate partners, or who came up with the idea and got everybody together?
Well, we practice fire prevention throughout the year, and after the most recent tragedy, we got together with several members of the department, primarily our fire prevention officers, and asked them what we could do or if we were doing enough. From those meetings came the idea that we needed to do more to make people aware of the importance of early warning during a fire. After that, we turned to our business community, Mr. Schofield, Mr. Prim, and Rhonda. They all stepped up, and that brought us where we are today.
Do you have any other explanation for the statistics in the sense that whether it's just an unusual situation that 6 people would die this year as opposed to some years we may not have any fire deaths?
Chris, I think it's unusual for us here in Wichita to have that number. We take a lot of pride in what we would consider a very low annual fire fatality rate. And there are many jurisdictions across the country where the numbers are much higher. But we do a careful analysis of each fatality that occurs here in the city. And as we saw the numbers tick up, I had mentioned in the past 5 years there had been 24. We're seeing 6 this year, which is more than we've had in years past. We thought it would be important that we get out and do something. Well, if there are no other questions, we now invite you to join us outside for a demo.
Chief, we're going to ask each one of the members of the coalition to make some comments.
Sure. I'm sorry. Roger?
Well, on behalf of the Schofield Automobile dealerships, we're very proud to partner with the men and women of the Wichita Fire Department. Lieutenant O'Cades came by and asked me if we would be involved, and I talked with my other partners, Scott Hatchett and Bobby Quillo, and we all resoundingly said yes. And if we can just save one life with the donation of these smoke alarms, then we're very proud to give back to the community. And thank you all for coming out.
We'd just like to thank Interstate All Battery Centers. Would like to thank the Wichita Police Department and Chief Blackwell for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this program. We hope that the donation of these batteries, along with the smoke alarms, will hopefully prevent some of these tragedies in the future. Thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of Safe Kids and my lead organization, Via Christi, we would just like to thank the fire department and all of their employees for taking on this task to try to keep our citizens safe. We want to remind parents and grandparents to practice your home escape plans. And if you have elderly parents who live by themselves, go over, practice that escape plan with them. We can't do it too much. And remember to check your smoke detectors every month. And thanks for coming out today.
Now, just you guys to all join me in a round of applause for our community partners.
What we have behind me is we have a small burn cell, and it's been set up. You all got the chance to shoot some video of it beforehand. All it is a small room with a couch and some other furniture. What we're going to do is we're going to have a small fire start next to the couch with some Excelsior. It's just kindling we use to help start the fire. There's no ignitable liquid or anything like that. What we hope to show you, even with this wind, is that how quickly in this room of this size that a couch can drive the room to what we call flashover. And as we mentioned in the press quite recently, quite a bit, flashover is basically where the heat gets so hot. We have so much heat in the upper layer of the room that every item in the room catches fire instantaneously. Typically, that's about 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit at the ceiling level. In especially the last fatality that occurred on Dodge Street, we had flashover in the room of origin, which is a crucial time in a fire, because that's when it starts pushing a lot of products of combustion, both heat, smoke, and toxic gases throughout the home. The other key thing is we installed a smoke alarm, a battery-operated smoke alarm in this unit. So we'll also try to listen for when that goes off as well. Obviously, we have fire crews standing by because once I give them the sign, once we reach flashover, they'll extinguish the fire. I will encourage you to be ready in case it does get a little warm out here. I anticipate with the wind, it'll shove most of the heat downwind. but sometimes you do get a little bit of radiant heat even this far out from the doorway. They're not even out of there and the smoke alarm's going off. So I've been told it was about 15 seconds from first ignition to the smoke alarm. Our initial fuel, which could be similar to newspaper or anything else you find at home, is burning up, and now the couch is, one end of the couch is pretty well involved. See the heavy black smoke? Smoke alarm just stopped because it just burned up. The thick black smoke you're seeing coming out is full of toxic gases and it's superheated. Jose, do you have a temperature?
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000 degrees at the ceiling. You can see some fire on the floor. We're about to reach flashover. There we go. Two minutes, 10 seconds. We're going to go ahead and have them put it out. It's floor to ceiling fire. Jose, do we have a temperature at that? It maxes out at 10. So it maxes out, our temperature gauge maxed out just under 1,100 degrees. Probably only a matter of seconds after flashover, we put out the fire. It went to flashover in 2 minutes and 10 seconds from the first flame. And probably at about 2:20, 2:25, we had them apply water to this room. Part of our, and I talked about this before to the media, part of our mission is to try to get crews there as soon as we can, hopefully before flashover, but even if it is post flashover, to try to get to stop the spread of fire and the deadly toxins throughout the rest of the home where we might have victims. In this case, obviously, you'll look and there's not as bad damage even to this chair that's in the corner because we got it so quickly after flashover. If we would let it go, eventually it's going to breach through the sheetrock walls and it's going to start affecting the structural members, and it's also going to do a lot more damage to the furnishings. That's one of the keys of our department where we locate our units, how our response time is so critical so we can get there and try to eliminate post-flashover fires as quickly or maybe stop them from flashover. And that's why we want people to be alerted early, because from that first, I believe it was 15 seconds from first flame to the smoke alarm going out, we get people out of the house less than a minute. We had 2 minutes to flashover. They get out less than a minute, we get crews there as soon as they can, 911 call. That's going to help us limit the loss, any injuries, and loss of property.
What do you say about, you got this huge wide open door here, and still 1,100 degrees was able to build up that fast. So,
And not to get too deep into fire dynamics, all you need is enough of a container to get what we call a ceiling layer, In most rooms, you have that. You have a 18-inch drop down from your ceiling down to your doorway. That's all you need. And if you have that much of a buildup, you can have your door wide open and that room can go to flashover. And that's all we need. A full-size flashover cell that we'd like to build out here, it actually has a 10 by 12 room with like a 12-foot wide opening. But all it needs is an 18-inch drop down and that ceiling layer, because really that's what it does. Think of a mini sun at 1200 degrees in that room, the entire ceiling layer, and it's bouncing down at all the things in the room. That's what flashover it is. It's a big oven, radiant heat pointing down on everything in the room. Fire code, we require one in at least in the main entry, main hallway where the sleeping rooms are on each level of the home. We would encourage people to have one in each sleeping room. Like people who have home daycares, they have to have one in every room where a child sleeps. If it's okay, for the children you take care of, you'd want it for your children. So a smoke alarm in every room, in every bedroom, and in the sleeping quarters. As the chief mentioned earlier, most of our fire deaths occur when people aren't alert. And all our fire deaths this year have occurred in the home, in residences. It's not in businesses where people are operating and they say, oh, something caught fire. It's usually when we're not alert to it.